Mal Menthol. What's up, YouTube family? We're doing a red light video, just like the old days on Instagram. I'm not happy about the angle of the camera, but I got it leaning up on my dash. It's the best I can do. At least I have it in landscape mode, so you guys don't bitch about that. And I got the red lamp on, which, for those of you that don't know what the red light is for, it's for map reading at night, so that you don't blow up your eyes with a white light. You military guys will understand. At nighttime, so you don't ruin your nighttime vision, you always use a red light. That's why truckers have two different dome lights. They have a red one and a regular white light. Because it's not safe to use a white light and then get back to driving, because your retina will be all fucked up. So I'd like to do a little longer video tonight if I can, because I'm still not able to go live. This is the best thing I got to go live right now. I need 4,000 viewing hours to make a live video on YouTube, which is my goal. I want to do my lives on YouTube from now on, not Instagram. I'm never giving up my Instagram, because I love my Instagram friends, and I love DMing people, and I love getting DMs on Instagram. I read every single DM I get on Instagram, even though I don't reply to them. Usually if you send me a DM on Instagram, I'm at least going to like it, like I looked at it. I might not have time to reply to it, but I'm going to always like a DM on Instagram. That way you guys know at least I saw your message and I looked at it. I might not have time to reply because I'm a truck driver and I'm very overweight. I'm morbidly obese. I'm smoking menthols. So, I really want to go live. I haven't been live yet on YouTube. I'm hoping I get to read the comments on YouTube Live, like on Instagram, because that's really what fuels my fire on Instagram. Look, I got a stick shift, Dale. See that, Dale? This is a 10-speed, Dale. Dale has a 5-liter engine in his new Mustang. He's got a little 302, which is a damn good motor, the Ford 302. Damn good motor. But it's a 5-liter. This is a 14.7 liter, which is like 3 Mustang engines. But I've only got a straight 6. See, Dale has a V8, and his is a 5.0. Mine is a straight 6. and it's a 14.7. So imagine how much bigger my pistons are than Dale's. But then again, everything I have is bigger than Dale's. Those of you guys that don't know how you calculate liters, it's basically bore times stroke and to calculate your bore, I believe that's pi r squared. No, it's half the radius times pi squared. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, it's engine math. It is what it is. That's my first cigarette. About to crack a Steel Reserve. So Dale has a 5-liter with an automatic transmission. I've got a 14.7 liter with a 10-speed manual stick shift. Dale. So I'm sure Dale can work a stick shift. I love Dale. Dale's my little buddy. Think of me as Skipper and Dale as my Gilligan. Skipper and Gilligan. So Skipper used to always refer to Gilligan as his little buddy. And that's how I think of Dale. He's my little buddy. Me and Dale are friends again, which is great for the Genovaverse. He's my little buddy. Emphasis on little. Look at that, Dale. That's a stick shift, Dale. That's a 10-speed. 14.7 liters through a 10-speed manual transmission. And Dale's got a little 5-liter with an automatic. No, all joking aside, Dale's a good guy. I got no problems with Dale. I'm happy to be friends with Dale again. So when I talk shit about Dale, it's actually in a friendly way now. He's my little buddy. I enjoyed the video Dale did the other night about his Mustang. My little buddy, though, he didn't go into detail enough about his engine. I want to know more about what heads are on that engine, what intake manifold, what camshaft he has. He never addressed what stall speed torque converter he has in that automatic transmission and what gear ratio he has in that rear end. For those of you guys that don't know anything about drag racing, the 3 things, if you're going to run an automatic, the 3 things that have to be in sync to make an automatic car go fast. You have to find a torque converter that has a stall speed and a rear end ratio that matches your camshaft. So Dale's little 302 probably doesn't make shit for power under 4,000 RPM. So if Dale's doesn't have a torque converter that stalls up to $4 grand for launch, and at least 373 gears, that 302, I don't care what you do to a 302, you need a nice high stall converter and rear end ratio to match up with that small of a small block. Now if you're running a big block, that shit doesn't matter as much. But in a little engine like a 302, your torque converter and your rear end ratio better match what camshaft you've got in that engine, or that car's gonna be slow. I don't care. That's just the science. And it's science. And anyway, I want another video from Dale talking more about specifics about his heads, his intake manifold, what headers he has on the car, and what stall speed his torque converter is set at, and what rear end ratio he's running. Dale basically made a video giving the details of his car for dummies. And I'm not a dummy when it comes to horsepower, speed. Those of you that don't know, I used to drag race a 1969 GTO, and I had a 7.5 liter in my GTO, which is a 455 Pontiac. And in my 455 GTO, I ran a 3,000 RPM stall speed torque converter, and I ran 355 gears. Hold on, Big J's got to piss. I want to explain something to you guys about speed and acceleration. You can't just look at numbers. You got to look at the whole package. Dale's little 5-liter Mustang with a 3,000 RPM stall converter and 355 gears isn't going to be enough. But my Pontiac 455 is a much bigger engine, made much more torque. So with the 302, like Dale is running, you need a higher stall speed on your torque converter, and you need more gear in the rear end ratio. And I know Dale's got some nice wheels on that car, and from the looks of it, he's got some little skinny, he's got some radials on it. So if Dale set that car up right, he's just going to light those little tires up and smoke. See, I ran fat slicks on my GTO. Dale's car looks like a nice tire tire smoking machine. And if that's what you want, that's cool. But tire smoke does not equal acceleration. See, that's why I like the GM A-body. For those of you guys that don't know what an A-body is, it's basically all GM A-bodies are pretty much the same car. The Pontiac GTO, the Buick Grand Sport, the Oldsmobile 442, or the Chevrolet Chevelle. They're full frame cars, which means you have a solid fucking car because you got a full frame. And GMA bodies also have a 4-link rear suspension with coil springs in the back. Dale's Mustang is a unibody, which means it doesn't have a full frame. It's got a little half frame up front and a little half frame in the back. The two aren't connected, so there's a lot of flex when you launch off the line. Obviously, if you put a roll cage in it, or you get some steel subframe connectors, you can really stiffen up a Mustang or a Camaro with subframe connectors. But even if you put subframe connectors in a Mustang or a Camaro, you're still limited with that leaf spring rear suspension. That's why I like the GMA body, because you've got that 4-link rear suspension with coil springs, which is far superior for traction. So Dale's car is nice. It's pretty. It's a cute little car for a cute little guy, but it doesn't look like it's set up to be fast. But we can work with that, little buddy. We get you, and I think with Dale's history, we should probably put a 6-point roll bar in that Mustang. That will tighten up his frame, so you get less twist of the body at launch, especially if you're going to put a sticky tire on the car. So anyway, that's my little rant about cars. So anyway, Big J's doing good. Had kind of a shitty day today. I had to swap out trucks today because I had a problem with my diesel DEF. It's a fluid that modern diesels have to put in the tank. Not in the diesel tank, but there's a separate tank for DEF, which basically squirts this shit that smells like cattle urine into the diesel filters to keep the diesel filters clean. And it's basically a scam, DEF, which stands for diesel exhaust fluid. It's basically like chemtrails. You guys all know about chemtrails on an airliner, I'm sure. Well, diesel exhaust fluid is pretty much the same thing as chemtrails, but for 18-wheelers. It's this horse shit that the government makes you run. And for those of you guys who have pickup trucks that are diesel, that are newer, you guys all know about what bullshit DEF is. DEF is bullshit. It's so unnecessary because these modern day diesels burn so fucking clean. But remember, when it comes to emissions and the environment, you got assholes in Washington D.C. that are all making money. Remember, people in Washington D.C. they don't pass regulations for the better of the people. They cave into lobbyists. And the powers that be, I don't know who they are. You could ask Lenny, who's they? I really don't know who they are, but they came up with this idea that if we put diesel exhaust fluid in the modern day diesel, we can make these trucks cleaner. But DEF is basically putting poison out the tailpipe, if you ask me. And I'm not an expert. Remember, I'm just an old, washed-up power lifter. I know a lot of guys take the DEF systems out of their trucks because you really just don't need it. So that's that. Big J still doesn't own a car. I'm still you guys like to call me homeless, but I'll tell you what, you're never homeless when you have a vehicle. And my truck, I have everything in here I need. It's basically like dry camping. I'm sure a lot of you guys camp, and you guys know the difference between dry camping and having water. My truck has everything I could need except water. It's really, I fucking love living in a semi. I actually love it. On the weekends, when I park for the weekend and I disconnect my truck from the trailer, and I can bobtail to the gym or the grocery store or to tanning or whatever I gotta do. I can bobtail pretty much everywhere on the weekends once I drop my trailer. I love it, man. I'll tell you what, Lenny would love it, because you come out of the gym and you hop in your fucking bobtail and you have all your food, all your clothes, everything you could need. And if you need a shower or a toilet, you go back in the gym. You want to talk about eat, sleep, and grow. There's nothing better than having a fucking camper or a motorhome in the parking lot of the gym. That's how you fucking grow. I got all my supplements. all my food right here in the truck. So when I come out of the gym, I've got my amino acids, I've got my whey protein, I've got my Gatorade for simple carbs. So it's just like a perfect situation. When I retire from truck driving, and who knows, I may never retire from truck driving, even when I get to be 65, or I think for guys my age, I think it's 66 now to get on Social Security. Even when I turn 66, I might still do a little part-time truck driving. Because I think you can make up to $19,999 or $19,999, and it won't affect your Social Security. So who knows? I'm either going to retire into a motorhome, and not a big one. I'll probably get a small one, built on a Ford van chassis. I really like those campers that are built on the E350 or the E450 chassis. I'm not really a Ford guy, but Ford makes the best van. Let's just be honest. And with the Power Stroke diesel, it's really a great vehicle. So if I can retire into an E350 or E450 motorhome and have a little shower and a little toilet and a little gas stove and a little gas range in my motorhome, I'll be happier than a pig in shit. And the cool thing about motorhomes is the toilets and the showers are small. Let's face it, I don't really want to shit or shower in a motorhome. You just don't fit. I don't care if you get a huge tour bus like Aerosmith would tour in. You're still not going to fit in the shower or on the toilet if you're big. But it's nice to have. And some motorhomes you can actually equip with an outdoor shower, where you have a shower head on the outside of the motorhome, and you can shower in a campground, as long as you have your bathing suit on outside. And I've even seen them equipped where you can put they make a shower curtain outside that you can fold down the shower curtain outside of an outside shower head attached to the outside of your motorhome. And that's nice. And even if you just use the toilet as a urinal, that's cool too. Because normally when you park at a campground, they have showers, they have toilets. If you go to a nice one, unless you're going to a rustic campground, then you can always use those. But you still got that emergency toilet in case you really gotta go and you don't feel like putting on fucking clothes and walking to the toilet or walking to the shower. But we'll see. I'm only 51. Retirement's a long ways off for me. Who knows? I might get a real nice rig someday, and have a toilet in my rig or a shower in my rig. There's really not much profit in that, because those rigs are so fucking heavy that you can only be 80,000 pounds. So if you get a nice big rig with a toilet and a shower, and you're carrying around your own water, you can't haul as much freight. So it's tough to pull a profit. But fuck, if you're collecting Social Security, you know what I mean? Who cares how much profit there is? It's your house. So we'll see. I gotta piss again. And yes, I am pissing right out the door of my truck. I'm in a truck stop. I'm on private property. No one can see my cock. As long as you're discreet, and no one can see me pissing out my door because I got a semi on my left completely blocking view of any other people. So I know a lot of you guys like to make fun of it, but you're idiots. Trucking is a decent lifestyle. You can't train as much as people like to train. But hey, let's face it. After my catastrophic injury, I don't really need to be training legs anymore anyway. So if I can get to the gym on Saturday and do my pressing routine, and then come back on Sunday and do my pulling routine, just do upper body split up into 2 different workouts, I swear to God, you can work out twice a week. Well, if you're doing legs, you really need 3 days a week. But for me, I'm basically just doing upper body, and you can actually make gains training 2 days a week. Now, for some of you young guys, or some of you smaller guys that are hard gainers, you're thinking twice a week, Jesus Christ. Well, you're probably overtraining. You know, I can do 3 or 4 major pressing exercises, compound movements. I don't need to waste my time doing isolation movements. Just do 3 or 4 pressing movements, and then the next day on my pull day, I can do 3 or 4 compound movements. You know, no isolation work, and I'm telling you, 6 to 8 exercises a week is enough. If you're just training upper body. So if you're training legs, you might need 9 to 12 exercises a week. So my advice to you young guys is find 12 compound movements and get as good as you can at those 12 exercises. Or maybe even just 9. Like on pressing day, maybe just do bench, incline, and then come back to the flat bench and do close grips, and then finish up with some hammer strength military. There's 4 exercises. That's an adequate pressing routine. You've just crushed your chest, shoulders, and triceps with all compound movements. And then on back day, if you do barbell rows and then hit the different angles of your back with hammer strength machines or cables, if you don't have a hammer available. And then for those of you guys that are doing legs, squat, hack squat, leg press. That's the magic 3 for leg mass. Squat, hack squat, leg press, in that order. And then in a perfect world, My fourth exercise on leg day would be reverse hypers. But if you don't have a reverse hyper, you do lying leg curls or stiff-legged deadlifts if you want to be a man. But sometimes stiff-legged deadlifts are just, sometimes you're just like, Jesus Christ, it's just a hamstring. Do I really need to do another goddamn barbell power movement and do stiff-legged deadlifts? A lot of, for me, I don't need to. I can get enough hamstring work doing reverse hypers. So find 9 to 12 exercises, compound movements, and just kill your body 3 times a week. Do a push-pull legs split 3 days a week. Do nothing but compound movements. And I don't need to do calves because I'm a 335-pound fat ass. Just walking around is enough for my calves. But in a perfect world, for strength, I would do seated calves, because the seated calf is far superior to any other calf exercise. Because when you do ankle flexion with a bent knee, like the seated calf, that's going to build your strength in ankle flexion for the bottom of the squat and for the bottom of the deadlift, which is where you really need your calves. Now, obviously, if you want to do some bodybuilding, you need standing calves. But I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm just trying to do, I'm a truck driver. I'm trying to do what I can do with as few exercises as possible. So, maybe if you're younger and you have the recovery and you have a good gym, maybe at the end of the workout I'm recommending, maybe at the end of your pressing workout, you might do some cable tricep pushdowns, or you might do some barbell bicep curls, or you might do some calves. That's still only going to raise you up to 15 exercises. You only need 15 basic exercises a week to become big. Now, are you going to get that kind of advice in a bodybuilding magazine, or from a coach, or from an online trainer? No. See, that's the thing with the fitness industry. They don't want to tell you the truth. They want you to become dependent on them. That's how they make their money. And that's why I don't really like the fitness industry, because I think it's filled with scam artists. A trainer or a coach is never going to teach you. They're always going to leave you dependent on them. And I think that's bullshit. So I want you guys and girls or women, I want you to learn. I want you to read. I want you to find this shit out for yourself. And I want you to gain the knowledge. And I want you to put up the middle finger to the fitness industry like I do. Fuck you. We don't need these elaborate fucking routines. Now, if you're a competitive bodybuilder, you're going to need more, obviously. But 99% of us are not competitive bodybuilders. you only need in a maximum 15 exercises a week. If you do 5 exercises on push day, 5 exercises on pull day, and 5 exercises on leg day, that's enough. Okay? Unless you're on like a stupid amount of drugs, you're never going to recover if you do more than that. So these trainers or these coaches that write up these elaborate workout routines where you're doing all this goofy shit, you're chasing fool's gold. Okay? Don't fall for that. Grab yourself a fucking weightlifting book or a weightlifting manual from the 1950s or the 1960s, and get to know those exercises and get good at those exercises. There hasn't been, with the exception of some really good hammer strength machines, I don't think there's been an invention since 1972 that's going to help you get bigger and stronger, with the exception of hammer strength. Hammer strength is a fucking miracle. My favorite hammer strength exercise in the fucking world is the ISO incline press. Jesus Christ, what a good machine. Because with the hammer incline, even at the top, there's no rest. You still feel, even at the top when you lock out, you still feel a load on your pecs. I think that's invaluable to strength, is throwing in a little hammer strength. Cables just aren't going to do that for you. Now, cables are okay in a pinch. I mean, I built my back as a teenager, with the exception of bent over rows. For back, all we had was cable machines. That old-fashioned T-bar rows. But hammer strength has made the old-fashioned T-bar row obsolete. If you're doing your deadlifts and you're doing your hammer strength rows and your hammer strength high rows, your hammer strength low rows, you don't need cables. And if you guys want to do a mass building program, I know you're not going to believe me, but just try it. Try doing compound only exercises for 6 weeks. Give up doing your arms. Give up doing bicep and tricep exercises. For triceps, do close grip bench, which is a fucking compound move. And for biceps, I would do an underhand lat pull down, which is for biceps. Both compound moves. You are going to build more mass using compound moves for your arms, using those 2 compound movements, than any other fucking cable or pulley or bullshit exercise. And if you're not a competitive bodybuilder, that's what you're after, bro. You're after mass. If you just want to get bigger, to look bigger at the beach, or look bigger at happy hour, or look bigger at school for the girls, just do compound movements. Because, look, I'm going to lay a truth bomb on you guys. The more isolation work you do for arms is always going to limit your success in compound movements. Because when it comes to compound movements, isolation work is only going to fuck up your central nervous system, your CNS. So, what good, if you want to get bigger, if you're a young kid, or even if you're not young, let's just say maybe you're a little bit older, and you're in your 20s, and you're a hard gainer, you need every advantage you can get. So doing isolation work for your arms is going to hold you back, because I'm telling you, if you train the piss out of your triceps and your biceps doing isolation work, you're never going to get good at the compound movements for the major mass builders like the bench press and the bent over row. That's why, and quads and hamstrings are the same thing. If you want big quads and big hamstrings, you need to be doing hack squats for your quads, and you need to be doing deadlifts or stiff-legged deadlifts for your hammies. It's just the way it is. Man, my bladder is just full. I've already had a bunch of Steel Reserve tonight. Now let's do a little bit about nutrition. How you stack your nutrients will affect your gains, okay? Here's how I stack my nutrients, because I train in the morning in a fasted condition. I haven't eaten for at least 8 hours. If I get 8 hours sleep, so I'm on at least an 8-hour fast, most of the times more. So before the gym, I do 1 scoop of pre-workout powder. I recommend Outlift by Nutrex. I just think it's the best thing out there. And no, I'm not being paid by Nutrex. I just think it's a damn good product. And it's already got the branched chains in it. You're in a fasted condition. You need a little bit of branched chains in your pre-workout powder if you're going to work out fasted. So, I do a scoop of pre-workout powder. And then while I'm training, as soon as I get thirsty, I go for a Gatorade. And the reason I use Gatorade is because Gatorade is made with dextrose, which is the best sugar for getting a pump and putting glycogen back in the muscle. Powerade is made with high fructose corn syrup. It's basically garbage. You want Gatorade with dextrose. And then when I finish that 32 ounce of Gatorade, that's all you need is 32 ounces of Gatorade. If you're working out in a fasted condition on a good pre-workout powder with nitric oxide boosters, the dextrose in the Gatorade is going to immediately make you more vascular, and you're going to feel like $1 million fucking dollars. it's also going to cause a natural insulin release. Okay? I don't recommend any of you guys ever take synthetic insulin unless you're a professional bodybuilder. It's just not good for you. So use Gatorade for a natural insulin release. So after the Gatorade, your next beverage of choice is going to be an essential amino acid blend. Now, I don't believe in taking branched chains on their own. I get my branched chains in my pre-workout. So after my Gatorade, I take in an essential amino acid blend. Which basically has everything your body needs to make muscle. Too much branched chains isn't going to make you grow. Take in an essential amino acid blend, EAS or EAA, essential amino acids. So, at the conclusion of your workout, you've already had your Gatorade, you've already had your essential amino acid blend. You've basically taken in a bunch of micronutrients. You've basically taken yourself out of a fasted condition with micronutrients. Now we're post-workout. Here's where I would use a whey protein shake. Drink the whey protein shake immediately post-workout. Because it's going to take, even if you go straight to a restaurant, it's going to probably, from the time you do your last rep to the time you get your food, is going to be a minimum of 45 minutes. So you've already got the whey protein in your body. Now, you order your post-workout meal, okay? And I like to do a big glass of orange juice for more fast-digesting carbs, fructose, which is another great insulin releaser, steak, eggs, hash browns, and toast. That's basically the perfect post-workout meal, because cooked eggs are very, very fast digesting, as opposed to raw eggs, which are slow digesting, and red meat, which is slow digesting. So if you eat steak and eggs post-workout, you've got pretty much a perfect combination. And then you eat the hash browns and the toast, and I want you to use real butter, because the reason you're taking in the toast and the hash browns is to help you hit your macros, okay? Your post-workout meal, you want to basically eat as much as you can to fulfill your macros. If you do this plan with Gatorade in the middle of your workout, essential amino acids towards the end of your workout, a whey protein post-workout, and then go to a restaurant and eat a huge meal, there's absolutely no way you're going to shrink that day and enter catabolism, which is the opposite of anabolism. Anabolism is growth. Catabolism is shrinking. So you come out of your post-workout meal with steak, eggs, toast, hash browns, real butter in your belly. You are going to grow all fucking day. I don't care what you eat the rest of the day. For those of you guys that want to stay lean, I recommend the rest of the day you eat nothing but protein. Like maybe you have hard-boiled eggs for a meal, or cottage cheese for a meal, or whatever. Chicken, whatever. For those of you guys that want to bulk, you add some rice, some brown rice, which is slow digesting, with each of those meals, or maybe a sweet potato. And then for nighttime, you don't want whey protein. You want you want a caseinite, calcium caseinite. You want a milk protein because that's very slow digesting. You've already see the timing of your nutrients is so fucking important. You don't want to do whey at the end at bedtime. That's fast digesting. You don't want to do milk protein post-workout. That's slow digesting. Save the milk protein for bedtime. The best meal you can have at bedtime is cottage cheese. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, and I want you to use a whole milk cottage cheese. Because that slows the digestion. You want a 4% milk fat cottage cheese at bedtime. When cottage cheese hits the stomach acid, it immediately curdles that protein. And that cottage cheese turns into like a softball in your stomach. Like the outside, think of it like a burn. Like the outside of that cottage cheese turns into a softball, and the outside is like cauterized, almost like a burn. So you got this bundle of milk protein that's cauterized on the outside from your stomach acid. And it's going to take basically all night to digest. So while you sleep, if you have cottage cheese at bedtime, you're going to have a slow release of amino acids into your bloodstream all night while you fucking sleep. And here's another good trick. After 3 or 4 hours of sleep, when you wake up to piss, here's the trick right here. I've been preaching kefir for years. Kefir is basically a cultured dairy drink. When you wake up to piss after 3 or 4 hours of sleeping, drink a quart of kefir if you want to put on some mass or some muscle. If you can't afford kefir, because kefir's rather expensive, it's probably $3 a quart. If you can afford $3, there's nothing better than a quart of kefir after 3 or 4 hours of sleep. The next best thing is eat a couple of Greek yogurts that also have the active cultures. Because if you're on a high protein diet, you want to be taking in a lot of probiotics because you're eating a lot of meat. And when you're on a high meat diet, you want to supplement your probiotics. And it's stupid to take a probiotic pill when you could just drink a quart of kefir or have some Greek yogurt and get your probiotics naturally. And the nice thing about kefir or Greek yogurt in the middle of the night when you wake up to piss is that sugar, those carbs that are in the kefir or the Greek yogurt will help you fall back to sleep, okay? Anybody suffering from insomnia because you're a bodybuilder and you wake up in the middle of the night and you piss and you get back in the bed and you're tossing and turning, I'm telling you, a natural way to fall back to sleep is a quart of kefir or a couple of Greek yogurts. Because those carbs, even though it's the middle of the night and it's the wrong time to be taking in carbs, your sleep is more important for recovery and growth. And the carbs found in kefir and Greek yogurt are going to help you fall back to sleep naturally. So that's and you wonder why I'm 335 pounds. Well, that's the reason. That's how I stack my nutrients. So anyway, I hope that's been helpful. The other bit of information I can give you guys right now is if you're a young guy, especially you high school kids, and maybe even you college age boys, stop running your mouth about the sluts, okay? The stupidest thing you can do is trying to make yourself look better about gossiping about a slut. What that is jealousy, because she sucked some other guy's dick and not yours. So what's your best strategy to get her to suck your dick? You think running your mouth about her and talking trash about her? No, she's gonna hate your fucking guts. So what you do, and I know this is hard, trust me, I want you guys to listen to me and not do what I did, because when I was young, I used to talk a lot of shit about the sluts. If you can be a man and step up to the plate and actually maybe stick up for a slut, you know what? You know whose dick she's sucking next? Yours. And that's a good thing. So I want you guys to treat the princesses like whores and treat the whores like princesses. That's how you handle women if you want to be a bodybuilder. Treat the princesses like whores and the whores like princesses. Because you want to be a bodybuilder, you want to get big, you want to be a mass monster, you're probably going to run a bunch of gear, and you're going to need a good little whore. So why gossip about them and run your mouth? Be nice to them. Be different than that other guy that's running their mouth. Be nice to them. They are a slut. You're not going to change them by running your fucking mouth. What you need to do is be a man, and if someone's running their mouth about a slut, Say, you know what? Fuck you. She's a nice chick. She's cool to be around. She's fun. You know, and Lenny's gonna say, "Oh, Jay, what's your definition of fun, Jay? Was that fun for you?" Well, yeah, it was kind of fun getting that chick to suck my dick. Because if you're on a ton of gear and you want to keep your mind right, you need a slut. Otherwise, you're going to become an asshole that people don't like. A lot of times, girls like that are little sluts, they got daddy issues. So what you do is you play that role for her, and you turn her in to daddy's little swallower. Pat her on the head, tell her she's a good girl, make her swallow that load. You tell her she's a good girl, and you be nice to her, so she's going to come back and suck your dick again. That, my friends, is the ticket to happiness. Is finding a filthy little whore that you can turn into daddy's little swallower. And trust me, if you're going to run high amounts of tests, you're going to need daddy's little swallower, unless you want to turn into a jackaholic. And if you want to be a jackaholic, that's fine too. Plenty of bodybuilders are jackaholics. But why not just be nice to the sluts and find a little whore you can turn into daddy's little swallower and be nice to her. She might wind up cooking you meals. She might wind up food prepping for you. She might become your biggest fan. And remember, women are no different than us. They want sex too. So if you're hung up on this concept that they're whores and somehow you're not, that's just immaturity. So if I could go back in my life, and I'm 51 years old, if I could do one thing over again, I would be nicer to the sluts and not make fun of them. Oh, I gotta piss again. I've been pounding beers. So, another thing I recommend is don't be a cookie cutter. Don't be one of these young, up-and-coming bodybuilders who has to go out at night and wear some faggoty fucking hairdo and put on some stupid cookie cutter fucking clothes and go to bars or clubs. Take up something wholesome like hunting and go shoot some protein. Nothing's going to help your bodybuilding more than going and sitting in a deer blind and downing a fucking big fucking deer or an elk or a nice mountain sheep, or I don't care what you want to shoot. That time of isolation in your blind where you can reflect on where your life is going and what you've been doing and what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. And then if you get to pull the trigger and you get to harvest some good, clean, organic meat, and that's just icing on the fucking cake. That's one thing that I think Dale does properly is, my little buddy Dale is a big time deer hunter, and I haven't been deer hunting since I moved to Florida, but when I lived in Michigan, I used to deer hunt every fucking fall. And I used to shoot every single fucking deer I saw. I know Dale likes the canned hunts so that he can get a trophy to hang on the wall. Well, that's kind of cookie cutter. I used to shoot does, and does are a female deer that don't even have horns. But I'll tell you what, when you're eating a venison fucking hamburger, who cares if it had horns on it? Your goal here is lean, organic protein. And there's nothing better for muscle than some grass-fed venison. Maybe grass-fed buffalo or grass-fed elk. That might be a little better. But try and become not just a bodybuilder. Try and become a true alpha male. If you want to be a cookie cutter bodybuilder and eat tuna out of a can, and maybe that works for a lot of people, but to truly evolve as an alpha male, there's nothing better than harvesting some protein out in the woods with a rifle. You will achieve true enlightenment where your mind, body, and spirit all work together. And when you achieve that kind of mind, body, spirit connection, and you combine that with your training and you're sleeping right, you're getting enough water, that's when you're going to become a fucking dominant motherfucker. And I know a lot of you guys might not have the genetics to become a fucking bodybuilder. Well, fuck bodybuilding. Like say you're a hard gainer. Like say you're 23 years old and you're still 170 fucking 5 pounds, and you're training the right way and you're eating the right way. Being a cookie cutter isn't going to help you take the next level. You've got to become an alpha male in and outside the gym. And becoming an alpha male doesn't necessarily mean you're just going to be a dickhead. Like, oh, Jay Masters is a fucking dickhead. Well, that works for me. Maybe that doesn't fit your personality. You can still become an alpha male and be kind and be generous. And if you're kind and generous, that's going to do things to your heart that will help you in your bodybuilding and your powerlifting. And you guys might think I'm full of shit, but I'll tell you what. You ask any pro athlete who's done any charity work, like going to a food kitchen and serving meals, or what have you. It changes you, and you become better at what you do. And you know, I love to help the homeless. And I'll tell you what, I'm not one of those fucking slime bags like Big Rob Fitness that films the homeless. You know, when I give food or money to the homeless, I don't film it. I keep it a fucking secret. Because the minute you do something good for another person and you film it or brag about it, it doesn't do anything for you inside here to become an alpha male. What I want you to do is I want you to do something kind or generous to someone less fortunate and never ever fucking talk about it. I want you to keep it in here. And that's how you grow and to become an alpha male. Because you're confident in what you did, that you don't need to brag about it. It's right here. And that's gonna change the way you are as an alpha male. It's gonna change the way it might not change the weights you lift inside the gym. In fact, it's not going to affect the weights you lift inside the gym one bit. But you know what it's going to change? It's going to change that swagger you got when you pull into the gym parking lot and you park and you get out and you're walking into the gym and you know deep inside your heart that you're a good man. It's going to give you that different swagger, that and that's why you don't need to brag about it. Being kind or generous is it's going to change how other people see you, and you're going to be walking up to the gym and you're going to have your gym bag in your hand, and people are going to come up to you like, man, you look great, bro. What have you been doing? And you're like, same old shit. Trust me. Just do this as an experiment. And if it doesn't work for you, say, Big J, you're full of shit. You're a fucking dickhead. I don't care. But I'm willing to bet if you follow these lessons in life that I've found, other people are going to notice, and you don't need to ever talk about or film it or post it. it's just the glow about you is just gonna radiate and be oozing out of you, and people are gonna like want to come up and talk to you, and they're gonna ask you like, yeah man, they're gonna want to be close to you, and you're gonna become a leader. And it'll be such a miracle. And it truly is a miracle. I truly believe that. Because there's no scientific explanation. It's a miracle. And I do stupid little stuff when I'm driving my truck. You know, I'm in my truck all day, every day, and you guys see the panhandlers that are at the freeway exits, you know, with the signs, the cardboard signs. You know, we'll work for food, you know, homeless, please help, God bless you, whatever. One of my favorite things is my cup holders here in the truck. They fill up with coins. And I hate coins. They're like a pet peeve of mine. So once in a while, when I have too many coins in my cup holder, I'll bag them up in one of those plastic grocery bags, and I'll pull up to a fucking freeway ramp, be sitting at a red light, and one of those people will have a cardboard sign, you know, please help, God bless you, this or that. And I'll hand them a fucking nice heavy sack of coins, and the look on these people's faces, like they thank you like you just saved their fucking life, and you gave them like $10 worth of fucking change that you weren't going to spend anyway, and you're not going to miss it. And, you know, I like to give them water or a Gatorade, you know, this or that. But I'm telling you, do something nice. You guys think I'm this horrible fucking person, and yes, I am. Yes, I am. I am not a nice person. I'm a very hard person to be friends with. My real friends get pissed at me all the fucking time. But they don't see the good I do behind their back, because I don't film it and I don't post it. So, these troubled times we're in America right now, for example, just something small, like I was at LA Fitness over the weekend in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm sitting on a bench next to the racquetball courts, and I'm drinking my Gatorade, and there's this African American fella doing pulley rows, and his workout outfit was fucking perfect. He had these badass Nikes. He had leggings underneath his shorts that matched matched his, not only his shoes, but his socks, and then his shorts and his shirt matched the entire outfit. I mean, this dude was styling. And he's got his earbuds in, and he's just doing his own thing, doing his pulley rows. And he was a decent sized African American fella. And you know, he's not expecting like a big racist looking white fucker like me to have anything nice to say. So he's not even acknowledging me, not even making eye contact with me. But I noticed his sneakers. So he gets done with his set, and I said, "Hey, bro." And he pulls out his earbud, and I said, "Those sneakers look really fucking comfortable, and you should have seen the fucking smile on this black man's face." He's like, "Yeah, they really are. I got flat feet," and he started talking about these sneakers, and see, I changed that guy's day. Like, I look like a fucking white supremacist, and I pride myself on that. But just by being nice, by just saying one nice thing to that African American gentleman, I changed his fucking day. I could see it in his face. He went from like frowning, and the minute I said, "Man, your sneakers look like they're so fucking comfortable," and he just a glow like went through his whole fucking face, and he got this big fucking smile. And he just, "Oh yeah, man, they're great." And, you know. He went and did his next set, and I'm just sitting there sipping on my Gatorade, and I'm like, that was my good deed for the day. That's how you become an alpha male. You have to be nice. See, I pride myself on being a bully, but a good bully knows you gotta be nice, and you have to learn when to back off. Like, you can't ride people into the ground all the time. Like, you guys have probably noticed in the Misfit videos, Brad will just ride me into the ground during the whole fucking Misfit video. And I just, I don't even acknowledge it. And, you know, and Brad never smiles during the Misfit videos because he's just angry all the time. Brad never takes the time to say, "Jesus Christ, Jay, that was a great set. Man, Jay, you know, you've been doing good. You've been training hard." See, Brad's a bully, but Brad is an amateur bully. He doesn't know how to find someone. Well, off camera, Brad is a great guy, but on video, Brad needs to learn how to find someone. See, I learned this a long time ago, and I don't even remember who taught me this. And someone taught me that every person, no matter how nasty they are, they have a tickle spot. And if you find that particular tickle spot, and if you're smart, see, to be a good bully, you got to be smart. And sometimes to detect what someone's tickle spot is, sometimes you gotta stop talking, and you actually have to sit there and observe and watch and listen, and you figure it out. Like, I know how to make this guy happy, and you figure out that person's tickle spot. Like that African American gentleman that I knew, telling him I admired his sneakers was his tickle spot. And if you do that once a day, you will become a better person. And if you don't believe me, that's fine. But if you have the balls to try it, you've got to trust me. If you have the patience to observe people and learn and look around you and observe and take in everything around you, and you figure out, how can I make this person happy? That's called their tickle spot. And you just say one little fucking thing, and you hit their tickle spot, and you get that glow to come over their face where they open up and everything about them changes. Everything. Their body language, their facial expressions, their mannerisms, everything fucking changes. That's how you become a bully. Because if you want to be a good bully and you want to become a true alpha male, you gotta find people's tickle spots. And you gotta make people happy. Because no one wants to be around a bully who makes them feel like shit all the time. Okay? When you're around a bully that makes you feel like shit all the fucking time, you just give up on them. You're like, well, he's an asshole. But if you can learn the gift, and it is a gift, to find their tickle spot, I'm telling you, you will own that person. And I know that's not a nice thing to say, that you own that person, but to be the alpha male, you have to learn how to own people. And you can't do that with being a bully all the time. It's an art form. And I'm not saying I've learned from the best of them. When I came up in the gyms in the mid-'80s, when I was a teenager, the gyms were filled with people like Big Richard that were just nasty, mean, and I was the young guy. I was a scrawny little punk, and I got bullied. And I think that's maybe where I learned that skill. You know, imagine Jay as a 15-year-old punk back in the 80s, and Big Richard was in his prime, and a guy like Big Richard is just riding my ass, you know, and I know you got to kill him with kindness, and then you get that smile on their face, and then you own them. See, if you learn that skill, that's more important to being a bully than being an asshole. So I think that's the most important message I have for you guys tonight. is to learn, to observe, to grow as a fucking human being. And you know, I know it sounds horrible to say, but to manipulate people, you have to be nice. And then and only then can you start to control the situation with your bullyism. But true bullyism has to be tempered with moments of fucking kindness, because if you don't, you're gonna lose that person. Okay? This isn't, we're not talking freshman psychology here. We're talking junior, senior level. Okay? Anyway, I think I've said too much. I gotta piss again. You know, this reminds me of a nice little story. Not this latest stay at my mom's house, but must have been 3 or 4 months ago, the last time I was in Delray. Brad was delivering mail on the route that my mom lives in, and Brad stopped by, and in the middle of his route, he came inside my mom's house, and he didn't have lunch with us, but he took a break in the air conditioning at my mom's house. And we're all just chilling out, relaxing. And my mom and Brad really get along well. They got a nice little friendship. And so they're both sitting there picking on me, which is fine. You know, I dish it out, I gotta take it. And Brad and my mom are talking about how I bust everyone's balls. And my mom is like, brings it up like, well, I notice he never talks shit about Andrew. And Brad fucking lost it. Brad completely agreed with her, and he's like, yeah, him and Lenny, they never talk shit about Andrew. And so my mom and Brad went into this dialogue how me and Lenny are assholes to everybody except Andrew. And it was just hysterical. And it's just, see, that's the secret. Okay? If you've got a tight little group of friends, Let's say you're the alpha male in that group. You have to pick one person in that group who you don't run into the ground. And me and Lenny have never, ever talked about this. Trust me, I swear to God, I'll put my hand on a stack of Bibles. We never conspired, like, hey, let's not talk shit about Andrew. And I know, when Lenny was going through a rough spot, when Rob Zilla was in charge of Lenny's channel, Lenny did say a couple of nasty things about Andrew, but bygones are bygones. That's all forgiven. Rob Zilla and I are actually good friends now, so I'm not trying to talk down Rob Zilla. Trust me. Rob Zilla is become a really good person lately since this COVID-19. Rob Zilla has changed. But anyway, that's besides the point. You don't talk about everybody in your peer group. You pick the people that you're going to bust balls on. But you don't bust balls on everybody. You need that one person in your peer group that's always going to be on your side. And like, I can bust balls on Lenny. I can bust balls on Brad. I can bust balls on Jason Genova. Basically, everyone in the Genovaverse, I will talk smack about. But it's funny how I never talk smack about Andrew. And it's not something I thought about cognitively. It's something that came naturally. And it's got to come naturally. It's got to be natural. It's got to be just. I can't explain it. And everyone thought it was funny. Like, we're all laughing about it. Brad and my mom, because I give my mom shit too. And I give Brad plenty of shit. And we're all laughing. So it brought humor to the conversation. And that's a good thing. If there isn't humor, you've lost your audience. Okay? Like you look at the people I've attacked in the past. I lost my audience when I went after Dale maliciously, or I went after brother PJ Braun and Blackstone Labs maliciously. Those were mistakes. That's when I took it too far. I consider PJ Braun a good friend now. Do I see PJ a lot now? No, I never see PJ. Do I see Dale? No, I never see Dale. But I consider them both good friends. You know why? Because I realized the fuck-ups I made. I support PJ Braun 100% during this latest controversy where PJ made that comment about George Floyd, and the backlash on him was completely ridiculous, completely fucking unwarranted, complete bullshit. And he lost athletes over the deal, and that's a crock of shit, because nothing PJ said was wrong. But people are such sensitive little fucking cunts that if you try and speak the truth, all of a sudden you're a bigot, you're a homophobe, you're racist, you're this, you're that, you know. It's all bullshit. It's all complete bullshit. So, I just, people need to fucking not be such sensitive little fucking cucks and realize that, you know, the world is better when we're all working together. But there's certain groups I'm not going to work with. Like, if you're Antifa, I'm not working with you. If you're a radical jihadist, I'm not working with you. You know, or a communist, or a Nazi. You know, I made a post a few weeks back where if I was at a Trump rally and I saw someone with a Confederate flag, I would nicely try and ask that person to take down their Confederate flag. And I got all sorts of backlash from people. Oh, that's our heritage, you know. And I'm just like, people are just not thinking. Like, this next election is so fucking important that I'm not going to be associated with someone flying a fucking Nazi flag or a Confederate flag. Because, you know why? Because I don't want to turn off one moderate voter or one independent from what I truly believe. I want my message on what I see as my vision for America to ring loud and clear. And if I got some Yahoo with a Confederate flag next to me, the person seeing that might not listen to the message. And the message is more important than your fucking heritage. Because I don't believe in the Confederacy. I don't believe in the rebel flag. You try and set up a goddamn government on my goddamn soil, we're going to take you down. We did it in 1861, and we'll do it again. So, and my grandparents fought against the Nazis. There is nothing American about a Nazi flag. And so, you know, you showed up at Trump rally with wearing any kind of Nazi bullshit, you're going to get your ass kicked. Because we don't need your vote. We really don't. And that's what separates true patriots and true Americans like myself from the goddamn Democrats is I don't want someone who's a Nazi on my side. Whereas the goddamn Democrats, they'll take a fucking communist on their side. You know, you see these young kids, they wear the t-shirts with that Che, what, I don't know his full name, Che, that goddamn cocksucker. You know, these horrible communists, and you'll never find a goddamn Democrat to condemn these horrible people on the far left of their party. Whereas I'm willing to condemn the people on the far right of my party. In fact, get the fuck out of my party. You want to fly a Nazi flag? Fuck you. Go vote for the Nazi party. But you won't see a Democrat say that. Democrats will take every fucking vote they can get. That's why they're worthless pieces of shit. So, and I personally believe that you have a goddamn God-given right to fly a Confederate flag on your private property. If your house has a fucking Confederate flag out front, God bless you. You got that right. But you know what? Don't go walking around in public with that shit. Because I'm for Donald J. Trump, and we don't believe in the goddamn Confederacy. Because you know what the Confederacy was? It was a rebellion to start a country on the goddamn soil of the United States of America. And that's not American. So, any of you southern hillbillies that have a problem with that, go fuck yourselves. You know, put that Confederate flag up in your goddamn garage. Don't go taking it to no goddamn Trump rally. All I want to see at Trump rallies is the flag of the United States of America. I also took a lot of heat a few weeks back. I made a post on my Facebook page that I would rather have dinner with a black person who is a Trumper, an African American Trumper, than a white Bernie Sanders supporter. And someone had the nerve to tell me that my post was racist. I'm like, are you fucking stupid? How fucking dumb are you? I just said I'd rather have dinner with a black Trumper than a white Bernie Sanders supporter. That's the opposite of racism, you stupid socialist motherfucker. Some people you just can't reason with, you know. It's one thing about this socialist movement is they prey on stupid people. Anybody with a fucking brain who's seen the failures of socialism understands it's an experiment that never worked. You know, you look at Venezuela, you know, 30 years ago it was the third richest country in our hemisphere. Now it's one of the poorest. Why? Socialism. I remember my grandfather, who was 100% Finland. He was a Finlander. And back in the 1950s, he vacationed in Cuba. And I remember when he was about 80 or 85 years old, he said, "Jason, one day you're going to vacation in Cuba, and you're not going to believe how gorgeous it is and how wonderful the beaches are. It's not going to happen in my lifetime, but it's going to happen in your lifetime." I don't hate the people of Cuba. I hate their government. I don't hate the people of Venezuela. I hate their government. Socialism enslaves people. Capitalism frees people. You know, I was listening to talk radio the other day, and I was listening to in fact, it was Fox News Radio, and there was an African American gentleman on there, and he was a conservative fellow, and he brought up a great point. He said that there were something like 800,000 freed slaves that retired as millionaires in the United States of America. So when these Democrats try and preach that racism is institutionalized in the United States, they're fucking morons. How did 800,000 people who were born into slavery, and then after the great Republican Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, they wound up retiring as millionaires? You know, the black woman that was used as the symbol of Aunt Jemima's syrup, she retired as a millionaire. And her family is so pissed off at what's going on right now in America, because their grandmother retired a multimillionaire. Capitalism is the greatest thing in the world. I'll tell you what. One thing I've noticed about the African American community is plenty of people can be born into the ghetto and retire as millionaires. But if you take the athletes and the entertainers, when I say entertainers, I mean people that use song and dance or humor out of the equation. The only people that make it out of the ghetto are people that have a faith in Jesus Christ. Have you ever heard of an African American atheist who's a success story, who's not an athlete or an entertainer? You probably haven't. Sure, it's easy to be an atheist when you get out of the ghetto, being an athlete or